Jenna Ortega was supposed to be in Scream, and she had a very busy schedule, if you recall.
I
And so
hear.
I'm a little bit like,
I
okay,
hear.
I thought Jenna had a busy schedule.
Bye,
This
bitch.
does corroborate
Corroborate.
with this busy schedule that she has. If she was doing this music video, she
Oh,
was
come on.
doing
They didn't have they
Beetlejuice.
didn't have this on the books that long
I
ago.
know, I
She
know.
didn't want to film Scream because they fired Melissa, and so she's like, whatever. Either they fired. Well, they
She
probably.
also,
I
I
wouldn't be
think
surprised
also,
if they let her go too.
it's the Pop Report.
So juicy.
Hey, Miss Ma'am, Miss Juicy Baby.
It's Miss Juicy Baby. What's
I
going
feel
on?
like I feel like I'm gonna have that stuck with you now because you love to just reiterate
It's
popular
Miss
audios and
Juicy
tracks in your downtime.
Baby.
What's new with you? What's happening since I've seen you in the last 2 days?
What's I don't think much has happened.
I mean, you were
I
telling me about some trial shit before this,
Oh my
and we'll
god.
get into that in a
So
minute.
yeah, so I think we talked about this on Wednesday's episode of the podcast about the Girardi trial, and now it's coming to a wrap. And I know, so Thursday, yesterday, technically the last day in court.
You went to the
Uh,
courthouse, correct? All
what?
times? Did you go to the courthouse Thursday?
I have not been to the courthouse, but I know
Oh,
people that are there that have been updating me on what's been going on. Um, I would rather them give me updates rather than sit in court all day. So I'm getting play by plays of what's going down. And as of our recording right now, so we won't have a verdict from the jury until Monday, which is when closing statements are
you really
supposed to
think that
happen.
it's gonna be that quick?
Well,
Because they
because
could.
at this point, both cases have been laid out. We have closing arguments that's coming on Monday, and at this point, the jury just has to deliberate. And I think opening statements will probably, or sorry, closing statements, closing remarks will probably happen Monday morning, and then I would be shocked if the jury didn't reach a verdict by the end of Monday. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. But the prosecution laid out their case against Tom Girardi and how he was complicit and aware that his clients, and this is Erica Jane's estranged husband from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, they laid out their case about how he knew that clients were not getting their money. He was aware, and he was the one that was taking the money. Then Tom's defense, which was a public defender, didn't have much faith in him, and I was like, homie's guilty, right? Well, then the
Homie.
defense comes in, and the defense goes hard with basically saying that it wasn't Tom that was stealing the money. It was actually the CFO that was stealing the money. And not only that, they then bring in the CFO's girlfriend, and they bring
God.
her on the stand, and she starts singing like a canary, Andy, like saying he was aware that Tom was in cognitive decline, saying that the CFO was funneling the money into multiple different companies that the CFO owned, saying that even that the girlfriend herself, she was getting a $20,000 allowance, and that money was coming from Girardi Keese that he was putting into, that the CFO was putting into an account, into a business that he had set up, and then that's how she was getting her money.
This
They
sounds
had
like the earrings will be returned.
It's so hold on. It's getting because that's not even the craziest part. She talks about his plan to liquidate his assets, which is what we saw happening. He suddenly was starting to sell all of his properties in the US, but that's not liquidating your assets, right? She said no. He disclosed that he was planning to liquidate his assets, move to the Bahamas, and change his name. So the CFO, when he was arrested, was at the airport on his way to the Bahamas. So everything that she's saying is basically checking out. She says that
Why do they always go to the Bahamas or like Mexico?
because that's where they can. I don't know
That's the only place to run to. But
but so yeah, that's the place you go when you run it. I don't know if they can extradite you back. But anyway, so she even says that she saw the writing on the wall. She found things on his computer when she found, that money was being taken from Girardi Keese, and she found all of this stuff on Camone, the CFO's computer. Then she started to catch on to things. She started to question things. He got upset with her. And then eventually he hit her back up when he was planning to leave to the Bahamas because he told her, hey, I'm going to go to
do
the
you,
Bahamas, but do you mind if I leave all of my money in your name? And she was kind of like, this feels a little shady.
this
So
feels
she
like
said,
it's more like work than just an allowance now.
She
Yeah.
said that what she did then was she went with him to the Bahamas. She's like, because she basically saw the writing on the wall and knew that the house of cards was going to come tumbling down if he was running. So she's like, I wanted to go to the Bahamas with him so
To catch
that I
him.
knew where he lived and I knew his address. So she literally was like digging up info to eventually turn on him because she knew that this was all going to come falling down. And I think she knew that because she was getting money that was essentially dirty money, she was like, I need to have ammunition so that when they come to me, they're not taking me down. I'm going to sing like a canary and save myself. And that's what she did. So, and she even said that he admitted to her that he knew that Tom was in cognitive decline and like wasn't fully aware of what was going on, which again was a strong it became a really strong argument for the defense to say, no, Tom wasn't the one that was stealing money. The CFO was stealing money. And not only that, but we also found out in the records that the IRS produced, which was from the prosecution to make Tom look guilty. But through those records, we found out that Tom, even though he was taking money from the firm, he was returning money from the firm. And the amount of money that he put into the firm was greater than the amount of money that he was spending from the firm. So they're basically saying, yes, he took the money, but he gave all the money back. So there's no reason that the clients shouldn't have been getting the money because he paid it all back. So it was looking like I was like, wow, this could actually,
Play on
there
his
could
favor.
this is a plot twist. I don't know how this is going to play out, but they're actually, making a strong case for Tom Girardi. Only to then on Thursday, they said on Wednesday afternoon that they were potentially planning on putting Tom Girardi on the stand, which was a plot twist
Okay.
move. And everyone was like, this is not really going to happen. Like, come on, that's crazy. They put him on the stand.
And what
And
does he do?
testifies. And so
The cross-examination is the brutal part because they're like, we got you, bitch. Like, your defense can set you up, but like,
well, and that's the crazy part is it's like, what was the purpose of putting Tom Girardi on the stand? The prosecution wasn't asking to put him up. The defense is the one that put him up. And there was really no need to because I felt like the case that they made was strong. And so I thought, well, they're probably going to want to put him on the stand to show that he's really not all there. He has Alzheimer's. He has dementia. He doesn't really know what's going on. And that's probably what they want to show is let the jury see how unaware he is.
right.
Which is the exact opposite of what we got in court. We're seeing that his answers to these questions make it seem like he's very aware of what's going on. He said that he did not steal the money. Christopher Camone, who's the CFO, is the one that was stealing the money. He said that the firm was doing great, that, everything was good until Christopher Camone was taking money unbeknownst to him. And I'm like, this doesn't really sound like somebody that's not all there. This doesn't sound like somebody that has Alzheimer's and dementia that was unaware of what was going on.
But it sounds like it's at least not on him, unless the prosecution was like, you know about these threads, you know about that. Like
Well,
anyway.
the issue becomes. There were moments of like some cognitive decline because like his attorney asked Tom if he believed that Girardi Keese, the law firm, was still open, and Tom said yes. And
Is it closed?
Yes, it's been closed. Tom's been disbarred.
That's a big distinction if not knowing.
And then the attorney asked Tom if he knew who he was, and Tom said, I don't know. So there are moments of dementia. It seems like there were convenient moments of like, I don't know where I'm at. And then there were convenient moments of, no, it was all Christopher Camone. He did this. So
I mean, dementia works in weird ways, but if it works in his favor for this.
it does, but it's just a very convenient, like the dementia was really working for him today. So it's wild. You asked me a question. What did you ask?
Girl, I don't even know. We got so much to get into. I don't think the verdict's going to
So
come
we'll
on
see how
Monday.
this all plays out. You'll have an update by next Wednesday's episode.
I will say,
of
let's
how
take
this
bets on when the verdict comes in. I'm going to
I
say,
think it's coming in on Monday. I think it's going
coming
to
on
be
Thursday.
a pretty clear cut. You think it's Thursday?
I think that they're going to be a little hung on this. I think they're
I
going to
don't
be a little
know.
hung, and they're probably going to need like 48 hours. The times where you think you have a very solid case,
Well,
and they're
so-
like, this is a home run.
Yes, but I think
needs to be unanimous.
the issue, and maybe you're right, because the issue is what the prosecution is trying to argue is that yes, Christopher Camone was stealing money from the firm. However, Tom Girardi is the owner of the firm. He was aware of the fact that clients weren't getting their money and he was taking money that he shouldn't have been taking. There was a mismanagement of the funds. Therefore,
I mean, you're going to have a jury who sits here and they say, okay, he gave the money back. Now it's really just saying how dementia like born is this person right now? Did they clearly know enough? And there's probably gonna be like 8 people who are like, hell yeah, he knew. And there's 4 people who are gonna be like, I don't know. You need to persuade me a little more.
I think
And
I
it's
would be in the you need to persuade me a little bit more because it's kind of like he did put the money back, and we see that in the financial records now, and we see that he put $80 million into the firm, which is way more
casually.
which is way more than what he took from the firm. And then they showed that, or the defense is trying to prove that Camone, the CFO, took over $50 million from the firm and did not return any of that money. So it does kind of look like maybe because the CFO was the one overlooking the books. I don't know if Tom Girardi is faking this dementia thing. Like this is the smartest argument he could have gone with.
Yeah.
Like
What a time.
I,
What a
I'm
time.
I'm torn, but I know we have other topics to get to. But it was all happening as we were walking into taping right now.
Well, obviously, if you haven't subscribed, you totally should. It's our time to call that bitch out. If you haven't, I think you should. We're trying to get better at telling you to subscribe if you haven't. But again, love that y'all find the podcast if you're new here. Hey, if you're not, what's up? You know. But today we have a couple wild things. Speaking of other fraud schemes, we have Anna Delvey updates. We have Halle Berry updates that I didn't think was going to be playing into this field at this time. And then we have Sabrina Carpenter updates and so many more things, of course. So, Miss Short and Sweet named Zack Peter, how are you dealing with these headlines?
I mean, I'm shooketh between the Matthew Perry stuff and the Tom Girardi stuff. Like, I feel like I just fell out of a coconut tree. My head is spinning. But Anna Delvey's back. Good for her. The bitch is
Like,
back. Tell
she
Jesus the bitch is back.
tell Jesus that Anna Delvey's back in Manhattan within a 75-mile radius from the home of Kelly Cutrone with an ankle monitor. Because that's what is the latest. She has now been not only allowed, as a judge ruled, to be on social media, and she had a whole house arrest photo shoot, but the girl is also living with Kelly Cutrone, and the two are working in business together because
They have a
Miss
fashion line,
Delvey,
right?
they have a PR firm, event firm, something fashion line, and they're putting on events for Fashion Week. And
What's the name of isn't it like a
Outlaw.
the outlaw?
Outlaw was
Yeah.
her Outlaw was her independent, and then she's working on a new like project with Kelly Cutrone, who is very well known in that scene. But the recent update, the reason she can work is because she got a social security number. She has been issued one, so
So does
she
that
can
mean
now
she wait, so does that then mean she can still get deported if she's now a citizen technically?
she can now resume work. Basically, like she had the deportation, and it was obviously put into, hey, let's keep her and put her in house arrest. So she's now back into this like, okay, you can work as a U.S. citizen. You can work with Kelly Cutrone in her upstate New York home is where she's living. And so strange, weird, don't understand. She and Kelly are putting on events for New York Fashion Week at a space sponsored by Pornhub.
Oh,
Yeah.
lovely.
Yeah. I mean, Pornhub, if you're listening, hey, sponsor some other things. But like, it's just like, I don't understand. I just don't really understand.
Listen, a hustler's gonna hustle.
And she's doing the damn thing, you know?
Good for her.
Um, is it good for her? I mean,
I
it
mean,
seems
listen. Here's the thing. There's like Tom Girardi. Well, I don't know. Somebody was stealing money from these clients. Anna Delvey was just ripping off rich people. She was getting
yeah.
free hotel stays and getting people to
So
buy her brunch.
Outlaw and Catrone's own firm is called People's Revolution. I don't come up with these names. They came up with it. And yes, they're taking out their own space in the Altman building in Chelsea for Fashion Week. So it's going to have runway shows, private policy, Untitled and Co., Shout New York. And it says that Delvey's hosted Shout shows on her rooftop last year for her pop-up. So this pop-up is now like going to be a continuous thing. If you remember those photos from last year, but yeah, she's doing the damn thing. Wish her luck. Figure it out, girl. But Kelly Cutrone, you and her figure it out. You know, that's where I'm at. Aside from that, we have a lot of music news. And do you know anything in music headlines that we're about to talk about that you've like seen, or like you don't know any of this?
I saw that Sabrina Carpenter has like a new single and it has something to do with Jenna Ortega, but Jenna Ortega's not on the track. She's in the music video, I'm assuming.
She is, yeah. So Sabrina's teasing her new single called "Taste" up on the Short and Sweet album,
I want
and
to taste the color of your underwear.
different, but also,
But close.
but I would love to taste. Jenna Ortega is in the music video, and so we've seen Sabrina Carpenter go from this like ditzy blonde girl on the beach who gets arrested to then like being a lover star-crossed, like in and out of prison, and now it seems like she's going to be playing the I'm a girl finding my man with another woman and like killing her. So Jenna Ortega, it seems, plays this mistress or other person, or it could be a play of, trying to get someone else's man, but killing off the girl. We don't know what it's going to be teased as, but
Well, this could be Rachel Levis's new anthem.
the,
She wants to bring representation to mistresses, so she would love this.
Jenna Ortega was supposed to be in Scream, and she had a very busy schedule, if you recall. And so I'm a little bit like, okay, I thought Jenna had a busy schedule. This does corroborate with this busy schedule that she has. If she was doing this music video, she was doing Beetlejuice.
They didn't have this on the books that long ago.
I know.
She didn't want to film Scream because they fired Melissa, and so she's like, whatever. Either they fired. Well, they probably. I wouldn't be surprised if they let her go too.
I wouldn't. I think that Jenna also just really had a busy ass schedule with Wednesday season 2 because she probably saw how successful she is standalone front and center as like Jenna Ortega and Wednesday. Like that put her on. She's like, I need to put more focus into Wednesday.
She was the star of the last Scream movie.
But again, there's so many cast members in that she's kind of lost in the noise.
She was the main character.
Doesn't matter. You have Courtney Cox. You have like legends. Like she is not an original from that franchise. She's like, you got Hayden Panettiere, you got all these people who've come back.
Which is
there's
exactly
too many
why we needed to bring back Neve Campbell, and they should have never let Neve go. We don't need Jenna and Melissa to be replacing Neve. We need Courtney.
She said the money wasn't good.
What?
Neve said the money wasn't good.
Good for her. I'm glad she walked away, and I'm glad she's now come back. Now we just need David Arquette to come back.
Isn't it wild, though, to like step away from a franchise that's like so prominent and like big, and you're like, good for her.
I think that was a smart move. And listen, they brought it back, and from what I've heard from like leaks that have been rumbling online, the last 2 movies where Jenna Ortega was in, they're going to completely like just kind of erase those and let this be a direct sequel to, I think, the Scream 4 movie, which was the Emma Roberts one.
Emma Roberts. I think she was in that one. Yeah. Scream 4 was.
I would love if they bring back Emma Roberts and like pick up that storyline.
Oh my God, that'd be so wild. Like,
that would be great. Because the last 2 were good, but they weren't great.
They're so jumpy in theaters. I was just like, throwing shit everywhere. Aside from this update on Scream Sabrina Carpenter, I guess, Nicki Minaj has also been in our music spotlight for our Music Mayhem because people have been paying attention to who she's following online. I don't know when these nosy bitches go through followings, but like the internet will check up. And
oh God, people need to get lives.
I think that people, maybe it's reporters, maybe it's other people, are going through his follow list because Nicki and Ice Spice have had beef, and Nicki tried to basically sign Ice Spice and tried to collaborate after the Barbie World, like significant single saying, hey, like let's work together more, let's do a record deal, let's do da-da-da-da-da, as Ice literally says.
Because Barbie Worlds, right? That's the song that they did together. Yeah.
Yeah. So Ice brought in Nicki for that. And so what the fallout was is a lot of text exchange back and forth of how Nicki and contract negotiations just didn't make sense. And so Ice was talking to a mutual friend and saying, look, like, here's what's going on. Nicki is like not kind of like grateful for what the opportunity is. And she's trying to take like more money. Like, I don't understand. I brought her in. So it became this like
Not Ice
big
saying Nikki's not grateful. Ice needs to know her place. There's a
Ice was like,
pecking
look,
order.
well, Ice was like, look, like, I get it. Like, she is a legend, but she's like, I brought her in on this. I could have not brought her in. They've asked me to do this. So she was like, I'm also standing up for my craft. Like, we didn't have to do this together. So, like, overall, from that, they've gone back and forth on a few things. Obviously, Nicki has had a lot of fallouts with the girls, like Megan Thee Stallion. Nicki also unfollowed one of the girls from City Girls, JT, because there's a diss track about her that leaked from the girls. So Nicki's unfollowed both of them, sending people in a frenzy. And it gets thicker when we come back to this in a bit and involves Megan Thee Stallion. So I don't know who's going through followings, but give it a rest. That's all I'm saying. But it is telling if you unfollow someone. That's a strong, like, I really don't want to see you. You have to do a couple steps to do that now.
It is I agree. When somebody unfollows you, that is a very bold move.
It's not like, oh, we're good. It's like, you're not good. You don't want to see him anymore.
It's like, I'm dead to you. And I'm like, oh, really? I'm dead to you now? Okay.
Like, I don't want to keep up with your life.
Yeah.
Something happened, or you're not interesting enough to me anymore.
I mean, I unfollow people all the time. But it's for those reasons.
Send them a cease and desist, like Beyonce's team. Like, in a new update, they also just issued a cease and desist for the song Freedom for videos the Trump campaign was using. And she goes, no, you don't get that. Mamala gets that. And so there were videos from the Trump campaign administration staff, like, posting with the Freedom song that Beyonce had of like different stops and more. And yeah, her team was like, cut that out. Like, don't do that. Like, we don't agree to this.
This is kind of, I mean, I thought this was dumb because it's like people literally post to their Instagram stories and take whatever song off of Instagram. Like, I know, I thought it was a bit of an over exaggeration, but.
Well, it's like she doesn't want to say, yes, like, I endorse this person. And
it wasn't even her. Wasn't it the company,
the communications director or someone?
It was the music company, the one that produced the song. They were the record label is the one that issued the cease and desist. She didn't even, I don't think she had any involvement in this.
Well, from what this says, Beyonce blocked the ability to use Freedom. It was used for a campaign video, number one, and then social media posts, like some people were using it on socials. Trump's spokesperson, Stephen Chung, posted the video showing Trump walking off the plane, backed by this. And so Rolling Stone and Billboard said exactly what you said, that the record label and publisher moved to block the use. So that video has been deleted from social media, but basically from that, they're like, you can't use this if you want to. Like, similar to, I think they're probably afraid that they're going to have a Celine Dion effect of like, my heart will go on, and they're going to use like,
I mean, who is realistically thinking that because Trump used a Beyonce song that's suddenly going to be an endorsement by Beyonce? Like, again, it's so ridiculous at this point. It's so dumb.
I think it's more so that like Beyonce's team, like, if you want to use any tracks of Beyonce whatsoever, they're like, no, like, we know this is a very household name. If you want to use it in music, TV, film, like, obviously there's copyright rights on social media, like certain apps allowing certain songs. But I think she just wants to, maybe the label or her want to distance themselves very much so. All the women artists are distancing themselves so much from Trump. But like, again, don't know if it was Beyonce who was like, tell him no. And that's it. Like, you never know who it came from. Someone at the label being like, oh my God, this is happening. Does Beyonce know? No, let's do it ourselves. Or Beyonce called the label and said, get that shit off.
Yeah.
You don't freaking know. You never know.
Good for her for putting her foot down.
That's our music update. But in our watch or skip, we have some music related news of the VMAs. Now, have you seen the VMAs lately?
Have we had VMAs lately? Didn't they skip last year?
Nicki Minaj hosted.
Last year?
Yeah,
I thought no, but what? Or was it the movie awards?
this
One
that
of
was
the
the
year.
movie. That was the movie awards with Drew Barrymore. It was supposed to happen. Like then
Oh,
that
and
got re-pivoted because of strike.
got it.
Um, the VMAs have been hosted by Nicki Minaj the past 2 years, and they had LL Cool J and a few others. Now we have Megan Thee Stallion hosting the VMAs, which cycling back to our previous story, those two have beef right now, like hard.
Yeah.
So you know damn well something's about to come up. The VMAs have been trying to make a comeback for quite some time. There are small moments that happen at the VMAs, but we're not having 2000s Britney moments. We're not having 2010s like Anaconda moments from VMAs or like Lady Gaga meet dresses. We don't have big standouts. So I think right now they're really trying to say like we need to create some moments because some of them with Nicki, it seemed like they fell a little flat. Like when Nicki hosted, it didn't seem like not that she cared, but she just didn't hit the mark as some people were
Yeah.
saying online, which I don't disagree with. I think that she didn't. She's like, okay, cool. Like I'm
I
good.
just feel like the culture of award shows is done. Like nobody really watches award shows anymore. I mean, especially when it comes to like the VMAs, like or any award show in general. I catch, the recaps on online of what people, of what
Yeah.
clips are being shared, but there's not so much like I'm not
It's
invested the way
paywalled,
I
it's
used to be.
streamed. There's so many different hoops to get through too. You're like, I don't have cable anymore.
Yeah, and I'm not as invested in the award shows as I feel like I used. Like I used to love watching award shows and seeing who's going to perform and who and what the stunts are going to be and what the
Yeah.
host is going to do. And now I'm just kind of like, okay,
I'm like, I'll see it on social. I
yeah.
am interested to see what Megan does for the VMAs, if there is a cultural reference of some sort.
I'm sure she'll take some sort of dig at Nikki. Like she's going to try to have a moment that goes viral.
I think the last real moment that went viral from the VMAs was Miley and Nicki's feud that
Yeah.
consistently comes up.
Miley, what's good?
Miley was good. We don't have anything else from the 2010s that is really standing out, in my humble opinion.
And that was when Miley hosted, right?
That was when Miley hosted like quite a few years ago.
Yeah.
So it really, in my opinion, comes down to the hosts and if they can command and take control of a room with other artists.
No, I think it comes down to the fact that our culture is beyond award shows. I mean, no award show is really doing well, whether it's
Also
the
true.
Emmys or the Grammys or the VMAs or the movie awards. Like, I think they keep trying to like bring in good hosts, but I just think the audience isn't there anymore.
I think it's also, aside from just my one comment, the musical acts, like the
Yeah.
performances, it's like people have said, okay, the pop stars aren't what they used to be. The performances aren't what they used to be. Like we used to have like Rihanna with like a glass box, like
Yeah.
on the Grammy stage. We had like
Yeah.
Adele. Like we don't have moments of like big pop stars or our legends who are in the same room anymore. Like we've had an issue with getting the Katy Perrys to the award shows, getting the Gagas, and
Because they
they don't
don't
go
get
anymore.
anything from it anymore.
No, they're like,
Especially
I'm
now
good.
that
I'll get the
social
award.
Yeah, but especially now that like social media has really grown, like they get better visibility by having social moments more than they do from like back then social media wasn't what it is now, so yeah, they needed to attend these award shows because that's where they had the most visibility to promote their brands
Press.
and to promote their
Hmm.
music. Yeah, with press doing, walking the red carpet and giving interviews, like all of that stuff was part of what kept them relevant. And now they don't need any of that stuff. So to
No.
them, it's like, why am I going to bother and go through all of that when I can just, post something on TikTok or post something on Instagram?
Yeah, well, pivoting to what you brought up earlier of the movie and TV awards, Drew Barrymore actually has her talk show being renewed, an
Oh
early
God,
renewal
why?
for
Literally,
season
why?
6.
There has not been a worse talk show host on television than Drew Barrymore. She is true, and I love Drew Barrymore, and I love her movies. But listen, I don't need Josie Grosey interviewing Oprah. I don't care. She's not a good interviewer. She's not a good talk show host. I don't know why we gave her a second season.
I think that there's a lot of shows right now from the woman's perspective side And like we have Kelly Clarkson, we have Jennifer Hudson, we have a big range, and people have stacked of like
Did
what
we
they
not have
think are.
that before?
Well, I'm saying right now we have like a lot of daytime talk shows that are
We
woman
had,
led.
but we've always had that. Tyra, Oprah, Ellen. Like we've always had like women have always
But
dominated the talk show, like the
I
daytime
think the
talk show market.
formats, the Wendy format was so different.
Yeah.
The Tyra format was a little different. A
Oh,
lot of
now
these
you're
right
saying they're
now,
all the same.
I'm saying like they have a very similar
Yeah.
format of like interviews and that's about it. Sometimes a performance. Kelly's, Jennifer's, and yeah, like Drew Barrymore, I feel like they do have very similar segments. And I can't see them separating from each other sometimes. But it is kind of like, I feel like I've seen this. I feel like people are also getting out of the daytime talk shows and they're like not as interested anymore. So it, again, that's why they brought in Jimmy Fallon, like to shake up things in the 2010s. Even that's kind of died down. Like when he brought
Yeah.
in sketches and more, like we're not getting the sociability of like shareability of like YouTube clips. I want to watch sketches. I want to watch artists. Like you're getting Kelly Clarkson's show that is you wanting to watch a cover that she did, unless
Yeah.
she is singing. Like people are saying, like I don't really know what's going on in the show. So yeah, it's a bit of a grab bag. Like people have their mixed feelings online about all of these talk shows.
I will say of all of them, I think Kelly is probably the strongest host,
Hmm.
and is the one that probably. I mean, outside of, I mean, we do hear a lot about Drew, and that's probably why they gave her a second season, is because she does often get talked about a lot. But I mean, they're not like they're. It's because people are like mad at her that like she's going against the writer's strike, or she's always putting, or she has the Mamala moment that everybody thought was so disrespectful. That I'm like, she has a lot of these like controversial moments, like
Hmm.
people get mad at her. But I don't know. I'm not very interested in watching the Drew Barrymore show, to be honest. I would rather watch Kelly. Um, doesn't Sherry Shepherd have a show too right now?
Yes. So that's again, like a lot of these people are like, oh, I know there's a show, but I can't tell you some of the segments that have been happening.
Mm-mm. Even
Aside
late
from
night
that,
talk shows, I feel like aren't what they used to be anymore. Like we're not getting a lot of those. Like I think James Corden was doing a really good job for a while because he would have like the spill your guts and the carpool
yep.
karaoke, and he had those moments that I think would have viral bits. But like outside of that, like I don't. Who else is still? We have Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, is
Stephen
Kimmel doing
Colbert.
anything?
We have
Seth Meyers? Is he
we
still
have
there?
Seth Meyers. What's his name? TBS. Conan.
Conan, he's still around?
He's doing some things. Yeah.
See,
Anyway,
I would rather watch like David Letterman's show on
Netflix.
Netflix. My next guest needs no introduction, because that's one on demand, and two, I can go and like when the Miley special came, like he did his sit down with Miley, like I was interested in that. There was a bit of a variety, but it was at my own leisure. I didn't need to wait until 11,
They're
12
evergreen.
o'clock
Yeah.
at night to watch a show and sit through commercials. Like it's different now.
Speaking of also different, Dancing with the Stars, another
Okay.
show. I we we
Who is
touched on
this
this a little
person?
bit.
Please tell me who this person is.
So if you paid attention to the Olympics,
I didn't.
Stephen, I'm so
I
sorry,
was only
Stephen.
watching the Olympics for the breakdancing.
Okay, pivoting. Stephen Nados. I can't pronounce your last name. I'm so sorry. I don't want to butcher it. But
Wingardium
Stephen,
Leviosa.
no, Stephen, who went viral for the pommel horse, who has a very
Pommel horse.
complicated vision. Like I'm blanking on exactly what his vision is, but like he has trouble with his vision overall. So that obviously the sport he competes in is very visual, watching your hand motions and more. But he on the pommel horse, it's the one where you have your hands and you're twirling your legs around just to give you a visual
Oh yeah,
perspective,
yeah, yeah,
Zach.
yeah. You're doing the
And
yeah.
he has his body like memorization so he can coordinate the moves so he doesn't have to rely on his vision as much. When he competes, it takes his glasses off. But in this, they said, you're really good with your body and like with moves. Would you consider dancing with the stars? And he said, honestly, no, because dancing terrifies me. And that's the one thing I wouldn't do. Now, he is the first person to be confirmed on Dancing with the Stars. Isn't that wild? Just
I
like,
mean, they always try to throw in somebody with some sort of like whether they don't have a leg or like, you know.
but I just think it's like they do get great, like you're saying, stories or like talent, like people who can do this, who say, I don't dance or I have a disability. And so they do capture some really, I'd say, heartwarming stories. I don't watch the show personally. I do know the small moments that come up, like
Yeah.
someone got a perfect score, or like this routine went viral from like Shangela, for example. Like I remember these clips coming up, but I don't watch the show. I don't know if this is again going to get me to watch the show. I will still see these social clips. Another one that I'm like, I don't keep up because I don't have cable, unfortunately, and there's no reason for me to get cable right now. There's no
Yeah.
deciding factor.
It's not even on cable. It's on a basic channel. It's on ABC.
Cable,
That's not cable. That's not cable. Cable is like
ABC,
E.
baby girl, ABC is a cable channel. Freeform, ABC Family.
Freeform. Yeah, Freeform is a cable channel, but it's one of the basic the first like 10 channels are part of the basic channel. All you need is an antenna. But cable isn't cable technically like the other like Bravo and
Depends.
E and the
I
Food
mean,
Network. Like those are cable shows.
it depends on how many. Like when we were growing up, we had the 12 channels, and like we could only access three of them of the 12.
Yeah. Those are
So,
basic channels though. Those aren't cable channels.
girl, it's been a minute. I don't know. Like, I don't know how
No,
linear
I
broadcasting.
think I'm right on this one. The
We'll check
cable
back on
channels
that.
are like the additional because you needed to purchase a cable package in order to access those other channels. Those weren't the basic channels that everybody had access to. ABC is a basic like channel 7
Well, if you get Dancing
channel.
with the Stars on your 12 channel TV, let us know in the comments. Please let us know what you
And
get
if
if
you
you don't
do,
have
then you're the
cable.
only one still watching it.
Oh, others than cable, we have some film news. Uh, have you been keeping up with Megalopolis or Megapolis?
What is
Megalopolis?
what is Megapolis?
Oh my goodness. It's with Adam Driver, Francis Ford Coppola's film that he himself has funded. Um, okay, I need to make sure I pronounce this right. Megalopolis. It is not an easy one, but that is how you pronounce it.
Oh,
The
it's
trailer
because
came
you
out
spelled it wrong in the notes.
because I don't know how to spell sometimes. This is a
It's
hard
well, I
one.
would say Megapolis too if I was reading the notes, but it's Megalopolis.
Tell me when the last time you said that was.
2 seconds ago.
Got it. Okay. So the trailer just came out. It's a Lionsgate film, and they have already rescinded the trailer because the quotes in it from film critics are false.
How did this happen? I'm seeing this right now in Variety. How did who put in fake quotes?
Lionsgate said, "Hey, we messed up." Literally in their apology, they're like, "We messed up."
By putting
So,
entirely fake quotes from critics?
so these critics' quotes are actually from previous movies of Francis Ford Coppola, and so it is unclear how they got put in here. It is unclear what exactly like happened, but there's quotes that are not correct of film critics who, for example, one was at Variety currently, and he used to be at EW at the time, or they used to be at EW, and they commented the words uh on a previous film that were used to promote this film, saying, and it was leading false information, saying it was about this movie. And
Yeah.
so all of these quotes are like in here with people being like, that's strange. Like, I never said that about this movie. But literally, Lionsgate said in their apology, quote, we screwed up. Like, I don't know how. I don't know why. I don't know what editor put them in. But yeah, it was quotes from previous Coppola work put on. One of them was called, what literally said "a beautiful mess," which was this film critic named Owen Kleberman incorrectly citing the 1992 film Bram Stoker's Dracula and highlighting the absurdity. But like these are falsified quotes, so very confusing overall. Right. Make it sound like it was about this movie. Yeah. No, it's not.
Very deceptive in their marketing.
Yeah.
And like bits of quotes had wrote and like kind of they strung them together, and it was like, and reporters were like, that's not what we said. You took two words from two different sentences and like tried to make it sound like it was something that I didn't say.
I mean, Bravo used one of my quotes the other week, and Zach sent it to me,
Yeah,
and I
but
was like,
that was a real quote that you used, and they featured it
I
first.
know. um, but yeah, other general news we have. Punky Johnson is talking about SNL ahead of the 50th season and why she decided to leave. She said it is basically a different type of show for another type of person. She has a background in stand up, and so she had her writer leave SNL, and she's saying that it just didn't feel like the place that she would fit. And so in the beginning, she would get 2 to 3 sketches a season. And she recalled that she got like 3 to 4 sketches on a season. She's like, oh man, like if I'm getting 3 to 4 sketches an episode, like this is my season to rock it. But after her writer, Ben Silva Johnson, like questioned her place and said, I'm trying to put these sketches in and like trying to put ideas together. And my writer would put them in an SNL format, but she's like, it didn't really feel like I fit. It didn't feel like I was like in it. And so she was like, I want to leave. And her team was like, well, what's your plan? You can't just leave your job like ahead of the 50th season. You have stuff to go for. But yeah, she had this discussion while on the Fly on the Wall podcast with David Spade and Dana Carvey.
How
So
long was she there?
I think a few seasons, maybe like 2 or 3, somewhere around there. She joined in 2020. So that was season 46. So 46, 47, 48, 49. That's 4. Sorry, my bad. So yeah, she's done like a Black Lady sketch show, Adam Ruins Everything, Space Force. Like she's got good accolades, but you got a lot of people coming in and out of SNL who are like, I'm trying to do other projects, or this is a lot. But there are standout stars in SNL. There's some that you're like, the dry humor is not working for me. Like this is not my field. Like
Yeah.
I think SNL has still had a hard time like adapting. And
Yeah. I
again,
don't think
like
it's I don't think it's a loss on her end. I think she'll be better. Nobody's watching SNL anymore. I think if anything, this was the best thing that she could do. No, I mean, come on. The best thing that SNL did was put Kim Kardashian on, because that was a moment that everybody was interested in. Since
it
then,
is really,
nobody
yeah.
watches SNL. Who
It
a
depends
lot
on
of
the
their sketches
host.
are so dumb too. So I think she
Some of the
lucked
sketches
out.
have not been landing. And like even Bowen Yang has had times where he's like, look, the elevator sketch with Ayo Edebiri didn't land the way I hoped it did. And it, just happens. You got to move on. But there's been a lot of sketches where it seems like they're not landing. Maybe it's the delivery or the
People aren't
post
funny
production on it.
anymore.
Some people just don't want to be funny anymore.
Yeah.
Some people want to get up and be funny. So that's your update on SNL.
Amazing.
And you have something about Aaron Rodgers.
Oh yeah, Aaron Rodgers. So he he there's a new book coming out about Aaron Rodgers.
Tight.
So it's not his book, but it's an unauthorized biography about his life. It's called Out of the Darkness: The Mystery of Aaron Rodgers. But the interesting thing is, usually when you have a unauthorized biography, you don't often hear of the actual subject being interviewed for the book, because they only want to be part of an authorized version, not an unauthorized version. So this is an unauthorized biography, but he gave interviews. Usually they go the Meghan Markle route, where they'll say it's unauthorized, but then they'll low key give like secret interviews so that you push their narrative. JK,
Mm-hmm.
JK. But like, not really. But like with Aaron Rodgers, so he's in this book, and so they talk about when, I guess in the early 2000s, or sorry, early 2010s, there were rumors going around that Aaron Rodgers is gay. And he was kind of dodging these rumors and didn't really want to address them. And then finally, he was on a radio show and they talk about all these crazy rumors that are out there. And he's like, yeah, people always say these weird, crazy things. And then the gay rumor comes up about his sexuality. And he says, no, I'm not gay. I really, really like women. And so now he's talking about it and he's referencing that time because since then he was then linked to like, what was it, Olivia Munn and Shailene Woodley and like a bunch of notable women in Hollywood, which now makes me wonder. But so he says that he wasn't that because at the time people thought that like he was one trying to over defend saying that he really, really likes women, over defend the fact that he likes women, and two, thought that he was offended that people would think that he's gay. And so he's now setting the record straight and saying, no, it wasn't that I was offended that people thought that I was gay. It's that I found it offensive that people were trying to use the gay rumors to shame me. And we shouldn't assume that people are gay in a bad way because then that makes gay people look bad. And I have friends that are gay.
Ally.
Ally.
He said ally without saying it, and he should have just said that earlier. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, it's what, 11 years later and he's now saying it? I'm like, bro.
I mean, obviously the narrative's changed. 11 years, the narrative on queer people has changed, but like,
do you really think that he was not? I think his ego is what was it was bruised rather than him being like, no, I want to protect all the gay people.
There's nothing more than honestly people being offended that their actions or the way they carry themselves is gay. And so like, there are people who take offense to it, and there's others who are like, that's bad for gay people. Like, what do gay people have to go through? But also, then there's me. Like, I don't feel like I act or see those things as a heterosexual masculine man. Like, some people also see it as you're attacking my masculinity and like my concept of being a man.
And I think that that's what it was more about. I think it was his masculinity and his ego being threatened by these rumors rather than him genuinely being offended on behalf of the gay community.
That's weird. I'm not going to lie that we get this 11 years later. Like, I'm offended for the gays.
Yeah. And like, what? And
what
the other argument
this,
is like,
discussion?
Well, the other argument is what?
What prompted this like interview? Like what?
They interviewed him, I guess, about his career, and so it's an it's a biography, not an autobiography. It's a biography about his life, and so I guess there are cultural moments throughout his career that they reference, that being one of them, about like, oh, well, back, you remember when you said that you weren't gay and people thought that whatever. And the other part of people are being like, well, if he's such a big defender of all the gays, like what has he done for the gays in the last 11 years?
I mean,
and listen, the gays will take him tomorrow. He's a very fine man. The gays would not say no if he came into the locker room and was like, hey,
if you're a gay person, subscribe. If you're an Aaron Rodgers supporter, subscribe. If you
are neither. Is he still with Shailene Woodley?
If you are neither, subscribe. If you Shailene Woodley fan, subscribe. Yeah, don't know, girl. Don't freaking know.
He's dating Mallory Edens.
Don't know, girl. Literally don't know that girl. So I said what I said.
I don't
Pivoting
know
to, I guess, a good segue to our couples corner and things that we already know is Jennifer Lopez. So we, on our last episode, talked about Jennifer Lopez. We literally had just recorded in studio, went to our at-home setup to discuss the filing. But in 2 days, there's already been a few bits of pieces of information about the filing, about the timeline, about the date of separation. And so to give some context, on the date of filing was Jennifer Lopez going by herself to a courthouse and submitting, quote unquote, by herself for a divorce with no prenup. And it was on the second anniversary of the two's wedding. So now details are coming out about the couple, looking at the timeline, the date of separation, listed as April 27th. The last two, the two were seen together in public, June 2nd, and the Atlas tour, which followed this entire media frenzy because Ben was no longer in the picture. But when it comes down to like this date of separation, people were like, what does that mean? Does that mean they were moved out? Does that mean like they broke up? So at least for legal experts on divorce, on dates of separation, people say, okay, you can put that as kind of an umbrella term for a lot of things. It could be the last day you guys were intimate with one another, someone moved out, you guys officially broke up, agreed to take some time apart. Could have been a multitude of things. We have no idea.
I mean,
But
it's
there's
essentially the
interviews.
date of the breakup. That's really what date
Correct.
of separation means.
So on the Atlas tour, other interview clips are coming up with people from ET even asking Jennifer, hey, like, how does Ben support you in some of these action movies? Does he train with you? Does he help you work out? And she responded to,
What
oh,
a
I work out on
sensitive
my own.
question.
You know, she actively avoided positive reasoning for like getting to Ben and how he supports her. Not, hey, like, what's going on with you and Ben? Like, we haven't seen him for the Atlas tour. So that obviously, now people looking back at the timeline showed, okay, this does like corroborate with this timeline of April 27th as their date of separation because they spent time apart. There was a birthday for Jennifer Lopez, a lot of things that they just really had moved on in their own terms, buying houses, so on and so forth. But she filed this date, from what I'm seeing, I don't know what you've seen, Zach, as a quote unquote significant way to close this chapter as
Yeah, she said, bye, bitch.
anniversary date. She said, I want to control this. So I don't know what is your take now? Like, we're in this as a filing. We have an official filing
I mean, it
in
also
place.
gets like dicey with in California about like who's the first person to file for divorce. I know there's like a oh god, I don't remember because I remember even Tori Spelling was like talking about like her filing because she was obviously separated from Dean McDermott for a long time before she finally decided to file her divorce papers. And I guess there is some sort of benefit you gain by filing first. I'm blanking at the moment because my memory is just not serving me. But I mean, it's strange that they were even waiting this long to file. I mean, I guess we were all kind of wondering what was going on, but it sounds like they've been broken up since April, and they've been taking steps to, move forward with a divorce, moving out, getting other rentals, selling their house. It seems like these things have been in motion for the past few months. So
Yes.
it's interesting that she decided she was just going to be like, boom, wait until the 2-year anniversary to really throw down the gavel and say,
We don't have a statement from the two of them. Usually that happens after you file for divorce, but
they
we
don't
don't
want to
have
talk
this.
about it.
No, they don't want to talk about it, which again, what people are saying, very surprising from Jennifer, who obviously put out this showmanship is not the right word, but this display of affection to the public and wanting to know about the greatest love story ever. And now we're very quiet about the greatest love story ever. It's strange. People have a lot of opinions about it.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I think it's going to be a pretty cut and dried divorce. I don't anticipate it getting messy because they both came into it very wealthy. They're both still working. They don't need support from either person, and there are no kids to fight over. So I think that, the messiest parts are the custody battles, which brings us to our next couple, Andy.
Oh, you put this in here and I go, Halle Berry.
Yeah, right. We haven't heard that name in a minute. I want
No.
them to bring Halle Berry back as Storm in the next X-Men.
Everybody
film.
wants that. And then she's doing
And
these
instead they gave
other
us Jennifer Garner.
yeah.
Listen, I do love me some Elektra, and I love me Jennifer Garner. But I didn't realize Jennifer Garner hated playing Elektra.
Yeah, and she came back nearly 2 decades later to do it.
I know. She was like, I hated it. I never wanted to do it. It was supposed to be like a Daredevil sequel that I was contracted to do, and then they turned it into Elektra.
And here we are.
And here we are.
So
So we have Storm, Halle Berry. So she's
Yeah.
going through a messy custody battle with her ex-husband, Oliver Martinez. Okay.
My dog.
So in this custody battle, we're now learning that she actually sued, I think it was a former assistant. Or she
Oh,
worked for her in some capacity. I believe she was an assistant. Her name is Erica. And Halle Berry sued her. And we found this out in this custody hearing because I guess Halle Berry shares a son with Oliver. And they, is it Oliver or Olivier? Doesn't he pronounce it a certain way? I don't know. I'm going to call him
mm.
Oliver for the sake of these proceedings.
Call my
Um,
dog Olivier sometimes.
so they have a son together, and I guess there is therapy that Hallie wants their son to do, and therapy that she does with her son. And I guess he's not a fan of therapy in general or this specific type of therapy. My understanding is it's like talk therapy, like they're working through their issues and working through trauma or whatever, right? And so he's kind of like not a believer of it. She really is. And so she's claiming that he's tried to interfere by speaking poorly about her and this and these therapy sessions to their son and trying to taint their son from wanting to engage in therapy, so much so that she's claiming that he, after her assistant resigned, because her assistant moved on to another job, not to the afterlife. But so she's claiming that he reached out to her assistant and then offered to give the assistant a referral for another job or referral of employment if the assistant agreed to reach out to the therapist and tell the therapist that Halle Berry is a bad mom and tell
Oh
the
shit.
therapist and tell the therapist about what she witnessed in their home. So, and the former assistant went to the therapist, wrote an email to her, and Hallie eventually became privy to the fact that Erica wrote this email to the therapist and then ended up suing Erica for breach of contract because obviously you sign certain NDAs and you sign certain agreements that prevent you from being able to disclose details of what goes on in your house. So
Wild.
sued the assistant for breach of contract, and now she's going back and forth with her ex she's fighting for primary custody of their kid. He's fighting back, and so it's just like this messy custody battle that I didn't even realize they were going through.
I didn't know it. What's the new thing she's in with Mark? Oh my
The
God,
Little
why am
Mermaid.
no, no. It's called I'm today's a hard day. Today is a hard day. The help me help you, Zach. This
The
is with Mark
Union?
Wahlberg.
The
What's the new
Union.
movie?
The Union
Yes. Yes.
with Mark
Okay.
Wahlberg. Yeah.
That's all I know that they're doing, like, is that. Um, so yeah, like I didn't know she was doing anything else. I know she was also involved with the new FX series with Kim, and she dropped due to scheduling. Um, what a wild time. Like sometimes you hear about these things and you're like, you have no idea what's going on behind closed doors. Um, I wish her the best. That's also like, I feel like another thing you're going to tell me in a week about like similar to the Tom Girardi, like tale of Halle Berry did this and then she had to do this and then she had to do that. I love the woman. I want her to come back as Storm. And I hope the rumors aren't true about obviously her being a bad mom.
All the rumors are true. Yeah, I fucked him
The
and you.
rumors, the
Yeah.
nastiness. See, I'm hip and with it. I don't watch things, but I get social clips.
Okay. All right.
So
Well, on that note, thank you guys for joining us for another hot episode of the Pop Report. We hope you have a good weekend. Be sure to subscribe. You can give us a follow on the social medias if you want to see our thirst traps, or you can follow the Pop Report at the Pop Report all over the social medias. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on Apple, subscribe on Spotify. You can watch video on Spotify or on YouTube. So be sure to show us some love there.
show up or show out.
Yeah.
Boom clap. She's a
Boom,
local.
clap the sound in my heart. The beat goes on and on. Now I'm going to be singing that all day, and you have to see me later.
I'll see you later, Zach. Bye, everybody.
Bye.